The Indian armed forces have been very, very stringent about. We'll give you the money. Money is not a problem. We'll negotiate hard with you. We'll give you the money, but you need to make in India. Every weapon system means hundreds of factories across India. So what does the Javelin do, and why has the Javelin been so successful against Russian tanks? Because the Javelin does not go straight. The Javelin missile, the game has changed. A Javelin missile is a sure shot killer. Striker, in terms of its capabilities, is far superior. So a lot of people have objected. They have said that India is also making a Striker variant. No, India is not making a Striker variant. Jai Hind, friends. I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Over a period of a few years, America has been wanting to share a lot of technology with India. America wants India to buy American weapons because America knows that India has the money to buy weapons. America knows that India bought 36 Rafales from France and it's buying 26 more Rafale M's from France, that is from Dassault Aviation. America knows that India has a very big checkbook and it's willing to write those checks. Lately, India purchased more than $4 billion worth of drones from the United States of America. And America said, all right, we can give you the GE engine for your fighter aircraft. Ladies and gentlemen, in terms of defense technology, a fighter jet engine is the holy grail of all the technologies. And if any country is saying, whether it's Safran from France or GE from the United States of America, it shows how strong and robust the relationship between the two nations is. Lately, what America has done is offered another one of its legendary platforms to India. This comes, according to the American offer, with a transfer of technology and also manufacturing in India. This is something that the Indian armed forces have been very, very stringent about. We'll give you the money. Money is not a problem. We'll negotiate hard with you. We'll give you the money, but you need to make in India. Every weapon system means hundreds of factories across India. Tomorrow, if India starts manufacturing the Rafale, if India gives a major order for Rafale and India starts manufacturing Rafales in India, complete transfer of technology. Ladies and gentlemen, it will mean a couple of hundred factories spread out across and jobs for hundreds of thousands of people. And this is not just for the entity manufacturing the Rafales. This is for the OEMs, the spare part manufacturers, across the country, hundreds of them, employing thousands of people, both technical and non-technical. So it's a big deal. So what is happening here is the US says that we will give India the technology for our famous ATGMs, anti-tank guided missiles, called the Javelin. Now, friends, you would have heard of the Javelin when, in this Ukraine war, where the Ukrainians were given a lot of javelins by the Americans. Now, what exactly is the Javelin? Like, for example, in India, especially in the infantry, you have the ATGMs, the anti-tank guided missiles, right? So you have the ATGM, you fire the ATGM, and then you have the rocket launcher, the 84mm Carl Gustav rocket launcher, which I have used. I have never fired the ATGM anti-tank missile. I have never fired that. But yes, I have fired the 84mm Carl Gustav rocket launcher many times. So it's something that you put on your shoulder and you fire it like this. It's slightly tilted on one side. You fire it, you cock it, you fire it, and it goes. It has various kinds of shells. It has heat, high explosive anti-tank. It has got high explosive, various kinds of ammunition for various kinds of scenarios and roles. But it goes straight. Now, the problem with a tank is that the hull part, the front part of the tank, is the strongest. It has thick armor, very difficult to penetrate, very difficult. And the sides have reactive armor. The sides of the tank, they have reactive armor, which means that, once a shell comes hurtling towards a tank, this armor, it goes off, right? It goes off and it destroys this incoming missile or incoming projectile. So what does the Javelin do, and why has the Javelin been so successful against Russian tanks? Because the Javelin does not go straight. When you fire the Javelin, after a few meters, it will suddenly go up. It just suddenly goes straight up like this. 75 to 90 degrees. It just goes straight up. And then it attacks the tank from the top. So you have the turret, right? You have the turret and you have people sitting inside. So they come out, they open the hatch and they come out of the turret. So you have a crew of 4 people in some tanks, 3 people in some tanks, depending on whether it's an automatic loader or somebody physically loading it. But otherwise you have 3 or 4 people who are manning a tank at one point in time. Now what the Javelin missile does is, like this is the tank, it'll go right up there and from there it will fall on the top of the tank. Now this portion of the tank, the top of the tank, is the weakest in terms of protection because nobody has ever anticipated that somebody will fire from the top. Right? And it will land on the top. Nobody's anticipated this before. Now with the Javelin missile, the game has changed. A Javelin missile is a sure shot killer. And this is something that the Americans want to give to the Indians. In the past also they have mentioned, and we also covered it in one of our programs about the Striker. Striker, perhaps the finest. You can call it an infantry troop carrier. It can have a 105 mm smoothbore gun. It can have a mortar. It has reconnaissance capabilities. It has electronic warfare capabilities. There is so much that a Striker can do. And America has offered the Striker to India. And when I say offered, this is not buying off the shelf like we bought the Rafale. This is actually, okay, let's make this in India. Striker is an excellent platform, and India is anyway wanting to do away with the 2,000 odd BMPs that we have for our mech forces. The mechanized infantry in India has about 2,000 plus BMPs. BMPs are of Russian origin, and here you can see a BMP on your screen. This is what a BMP looks like. It looks like a smaller version of a tank. It has lesser mobility, it has lesser protection, it has got lesser firepower, but it can carry 9 people inside, 9 fighting soldiers who can be safely delivered to the objective to fight against the enemy. That is the whole idea of a BMP. Now, this will, or could, I am saying in the future, if India agrees to it, there are lots of ifs and buts, but this could be a replacement for the BMP. And India is also making its own indigenous stuff, which India says is pretty remarkable. Tata is making it, one more company is making it. I'm given to believe, I've studied this a little bit, though not in detail, I'm given to believe that Striker in terms of its capabilities is far superior. So a lot of people have objected, they have said that India is also making a Striker variant. No, India is not making a Striker variant. The Striker is a totally different kettle of fish, right? Just because someone is making, and I'm not talking about India here, so I don't want our audience to be offended, but just because somebody is making a twin-engined fighter aircraft, it does not mean it is the F-22 Raptor. That's not how it works. The capabilities of the aircraft, in this case, the capability of the Striker is totally next level. It's a generation ahead, the Striker. The third platform that America is very keen on giving us, transferring of technology and saying that, hey, make it in India, is the M777 howitzer. The M777 carries the same caliber like a Bofors, which is 155 mm. And the beauty is that it's very light. If you compare it to the Bofors, the weight is far lesser. So a Chinook helicopter can carry it underslung. You can tie it to a Chinook can carry it, and this comes in handy in high altitude areas, especially along the line of actual control and certain areas along the line of control. A wonderful weapon. It can be assembled, it can be taken away to far off places, and it is far more accurate and far more versatile than most of the 155 mm guns in the world. India already has the M777. India already has that. But all of these M777s that India has are all imported. They are not made in India. And this is the American offer to India. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I've spoken about 3 weapon systems. The latest that America has offered is the Javelin anti-tank missile, which is outstanding. Number 2, the Striker platform, again an outstanding platform. And number 3, something that India really, really needs, a top-class long-distance gun, a top-class artillery piece, the 155mm M777. Ladies and gentlemen, with that I come to the end of my video today. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel, don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.